My name's Logan York. I'm Director of Operations at FloodZone Disaster Recovery Solutions. We offer commercial restoration services and help businesses plan for and recover from disasters.
Wonderful, love that. So, Logan, how can you tell us, or what can you tell us about when something's happening, when a hurricane's coming? How can businesses and homeowners prepare for their safety?
Well, preparing for hurricanes or really any kind of disasters, especially for businesses, is something that should be done year round. It's not something,
Okay.
if a hurricane's already coming, now you're scrambling and you're really just trying to piece things together. So for businesses, developing a hurricane plan, and even for homeowners, developing a hurricane preparedness plan before hurricane season and reviewing it is something that really can help expedite the recovery process.
Yeah.
So for businesses before hurricane season comes in, really evaluating your property and documenting the current condition of your property is important. So we recommend going around and looking at your roofs, looking at basically your entire building envelope, making sure you don't have any leaky windows. And as you're going around and looking at these things, you want to make sure that you're taking pictures or doing recordings of it. Drones are another great idea. Whenever you get drones involved, you can get kind of an aerial view looking down. And what this does is if you do happen to have damage and you have to file an insurance claim, a lot of things that we hear are things like, oh, well, previous damage or poor maintenance whenever adjusters are getting involved or carriers getting involved. So having this kind of documentation before can really help alleviate a lot of those concerns. And plus you're going to see, things that might be wrong with your property. Landscaping is a big deal too. That's something that, right around this time of year, you need to be going out and looking to see if you have any kind of overgrown trees or shrubs, anything that can fall on your roof. We're in Florida, coconut palms, I can't tell you guys how many coconuts we found inside of buildings after Hurricane Ian came through. So making sure those coconut palms are cleared. Drainage too, look at your storm grates, look at your drainage system around the property. Is it cleared? And if it is cleared, is it something that's going to get clogged because maybe you have a bunch of loose debris or leaves or whatever that it can clog it up very quickly and cause water to get in on the inside. On the roof, I'm sure that you know this, Matt, on the roof, check your scuppers. Check the condition of your roof. We did a project, it was during Hurricane Irma, that y'all actually might be familiar with, where the scuppers on the roof got filled up, they got clogged, and a rooftop unit fell through the third floor and ended up leaving a 12-inch water line on the third floor of the building. Never seen anything like it, and actually drained down and ended up damaging the entire building. So, simple things like that, contacting your roofing company, having them, give you ideas for fortifying your roof. And whenever you're going around and doing this documentation and inspection, it's good to you don't want just anybody doing it. You want somebody that's familiar with construction doing these things, someone that understands,
What can happen if homeowners and business owners, building owners, don't do any of those preventative steps?
Well, your business or your building, your commercial building is more vulnerable to these elements. So anything could happen. If you've got like the coconut palms, for example, if you don't have those coconut palms, those coconuts trimmed, and we have a major hurricane or windstorm come through and it hits your window, it's going to cause that window to break. If you don't have your scuppers cleared out on the roof, you have a chance of having a leaky roof or something failing up there. If you don't have your drainage cleared out, all of a sudden that water starts rising and has nowhere to go. It's going to enter your building. Checking your doors and your windows for leaky seals. We do a lot of work around leaky windows. The window looks like it's all right, but whenever that pressure and that water's hitting it from a storm, it's gonna seep in and it's gonna cause damages.
How do you and your company help homeowners and business owners?
We help homeowners recover from disaster, but on the forefront, what we like to do is we like to do something called our Back in Business program. So we'll actually come out.
Back in business.
Yeah, it's our back in business program. So the back in business program is designed to have a safer, more efficient, reliable restoration. It's a priority response type program. But it's more than just signing in a piece of paper that says we're going to take care of you. So we'll actually come out to your business and we'll help you walk through these things. We'll help you. We'll give you checklists to go through it. Now we're not going to, we'll get up and take a look at your roof. We'll take a look at your windows, but we're not experts in those things. But we'll recommend people, if we notice anything, we can recommend people to take a look at it. And then we'll figure out, like, okay, let's say that the power's out for 2 weeks. Can your business withstand not having power? Or do we need to find out what kind of emergency generator you might need? There's a study that after any kind of major disaster, small businesses that are not open within 5 days, 40% of them go out of business.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. After 10 days, that number goes to about 96%. Right. So another good point too is we talk with a lot of small business owners that either they just don't think something's going to happen or they think that's why I have insurance. It's something to think about with your insurance, because if you're going to recover quickly, your insurance is there to reimburse you for those expenses. So you're not going to get that money right away. And if you need to have even like a temporary roof or something, you're going to have those types of emergency funds to cover the ends until they get paid. And Hurricane Ian that hit on September 28th, I think the number was right around 60% in June of people that had not been paid from their insurance claims yet. So think about that. Of all people that had damage and filed claims in June, 60% of them still had not received any kind of money.
Is there a number in your mind that, as far as cash or rainy day fund, hurricane fund, that people should be able to hold and have just in case?
It's going to depend. I mean, you're going to want to talk with like your roofing company. You're going to want to talk with someone like us, from a roofing aspect. What do you need? Do you need to get a new roof on quickly, or do you just need to get a temporary roof? Right. Ask your contractor, your roofing company, what's it going to cost for us to do? Worst case scenario, we got temporary roof this whole thing. And then it kind of goes back to the same question. How long can you be out of business?
Right.
Everybody's a little bit different, but if you think about it in terms of market share, even if I'm a restaurant, right? If I'm a restaurant and I have this customer base and a hurricane hits and I can't open those doors for 10 days, that customer base is going to find other restaurants. You're going to lose market share. If you've got a retail store or a furniture store after a hurricane, you can't open up, they're going to find. Right, and then people are creatures of habit. So once you lose those customers, once you lose that market share, that's why a lot of these places end up going out of business. They can't get their customers back. So the questions that you want to consider are, okay, if I'm out of power, how many days can I stay closed before I'm done, before I'm bankrupt? And how many customers am I going to lose in that process? Even if it's something that is like complex housing. If you've got multifamily housing, you're going to lose those tenants. I can give you a perfect example. In Port Charlotte, our office got destroyed. We have contingency plans for these types of things, but still, you never really realize. I mean, this is what we do, so even for us, it was kind of a shock. They had an opportunity to get in there to temporary roof it and to get it dried out, and they still are going to have to do some demolition. Instead, they didn't do anything. Okay. They're still closed. They're still rebuilding.
Was mold an issue for them?
What's that?
Was mold an issue?
Oh, I'm sure mold was an issue, because whenever we went back to pull some of the final things out a week later, I mean, my desk, the drawers in it were still full of water.
Gosh.
Yeah, so mold became a major issue. Now everything is getting torn out of the place. But what hurts them more than that, even if you have things like business interruption that's going to help cover some of your rental costs and lost rent, I mean, we're talking about 2 years.
Wow.
All the people that rented that place out, I mean, half of them are in the office that we're at. They still have no, so now you got to think more about just, oh, it's going to be expensive for me to do these repairs. What's it going to cost for you to acquire those customers again?
Yeah, what's it going to cost if you don't make those repairs?
Right, right. So, whatever you can do temporarily, and, if you can't, if it's something that your building does get completely destroyed, then, you need to be thinking about workarounds. Like, what if? It's the what if scenarios. And these what if scenarios are something that you should be talking with other people on your team, talking with your insurance broker too. What if this happens? Am I covered? What if this happens? Am I covered? Setting up, those MSAs and those emergency service agreements with your contractors that you trust. It's important. After a hurricane hits, you got about 24 to 48 hours where you have a lot of people that are ready to work. And then after that, what happens? You can't find anybody. If you have those master service agreements, you know what you're going to be paying. You get prices locked in, hurricane or not. I mean, there's always going to be something that's out of control, dumpsters, porta potties, things like that. I mean, the prices go way up. But knowing what you're going to pay with the contractors that you trust, knowing that you have the reserve funds to put a deposit. Now all of a sudden you're talking about Target Roofing getting out there, and you're talking about Target Roofing not only just temporary roof in your place, but they're ordering materials. So you got to think about supply chains as well, because the manufacturers get overrun. So, you might be sitting there thinking, oh, I need to wait for my adjuster and whatever else. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't get those contractors that you trust out there quickly, if you don't get those material orders done quickly, then you're sitting like, unfortunately, like a lot of people still are, with no roof, with, waiting on materials to come in.
Yeah. I mean, it's been, 550 days or something like that since Hurricane Ian. Mm-hmm. And that's still the case for a lot of people.
Yeah, and now people are getting dropped.
Yeah.
Their insurance is dropping. And it's a sad story, because some of them, the insurance company came in and just didn't pay them enough or denied their claim, and now they're dropping them because they have roof damage. It's a shame, and I mean, the fact is we all want to think that we can rely just on that, but how important is it for you to stay in business?
Good. Let me end this with a question. How have you been able to impact and influence people through your business?
I would say that we were able to, especially with the ones that were on our Back in Business program.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some big retail stores that we were able to get up and running almost immediately afterwards. And, there's a couple that were, 25,000 square foot or so. And we got those companies back up and running immediately after the storm. Which means that, we got the water out, we've got the equipment running, we were able to get their ACs going. They still had roof damage, but they were working on getting the temporary roofing done before it rained. In the meantime, they have customers in their store. They not only retain market share, they're taking customers from everyone else around them that's not opened up. So, I mean, that's really like our good stories, is the ones that I like, the ones that we can get out there quickly. I like seeing doors open. I like getting people back in business. That's why we call it our Back in Business program.
Sorry, yeah. Do you primarily work with businesses or homeowners?
We primarily work with businesses. We'll do complex residential, through associations, but we're a commercial restoration company.
Well, thank you, Logan. So appreciate it, man.
Absolutely appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, it was good talking to you.
Yep.